Most folks don't realize the amount of knowledge a farmer has to know to be a successful farmer. You have to know business as well as your local hardware store owner. You have to understand high math and applied physics to the level of a junior college instructor. And you have to know enough medicine to treat your animals and when it's time to call the vet. Along the way, you pick up bits of knowledge that can be unbelievably useful in other areas. Or for me, you remember that the 1952 Buick was debuted on the Patty Page Show. This last piece of information has saved me numerous times. So here are 17 things you may or may not know, but should know. Let's see how many you do know. I did start out with 10 and ended up with 16. Now I have 17. I'm Scott Boehm. They call me the old farmer. I'll do the video now because I might think up some more, and then this video will turn into War and Peace for length. In fact, while proofing the syntax before recording, I came up with another one to mention. At your local grocery store, shoppers usually think the house brand is cheaper. What is actually true is that the house brand names are priced to have the desired profit. Brand names are then priced even higher, giving the illusion that the house brand has been discounted. As an example, canned peaches may cost the store 50 cents, and they want allowing for market pressure 60 cents gross profit on the can. That means the house brand will sell for $1.10. A brand name of peaches might sell for $1.59. If house brands go on sale, it usually means that the sell-by date is getting close. Since most folks buy by habit, that means the sale price on the name brand peaches will be ignored, while the store can claim great specials, knowing few will cross over to buy the name brand, which is on sale at a cheaper price than the house brand. As a side note, deli products such as potato salad will be priced at 2 to 3 times their cost. The deli products are priced high already by the supplier to the grocery stores. Meats, except for the specials, are priced at 3 to 4 times their cost. Enough times, Amazon is not the lowest price. The local big box store or possibly your neighborhood store has the lower price. Pricing on Amazon includes popularity. Have you noticed that a product from Amazon that is promoted by a popular YouTube channel at a particular price costs more when we go and take a look? The channel caused enough additional purchases that the price is automatically raised. Some sellers will list a sucker price for the same thing, waiting for the lower price product to sell out. I have mentioned this before, and it's true. Linux is the best operating system because it's free and survives on donations. That means if they want the donations, the software has to work right. It seems like everyone is moaning and groaning about their computer. The commercial software is a royal pain in the royal parts of the anatomy. Windows and Apple already have your money, and they know that we don't like changing out our operating system, even though we might need to upgrade. Windows 10 has been accused of being the best spyware created by friend or foe. Some have pleaded with Microsoft to remove the spyware and again charge for the software. Linux is good. It is as popular on computer servers that run the internet as Windows is on desktops. How good is Linux? Microsoft uses Linux servers for their websites. It's that good. Linux is free. It survives on commitment by a dedicated following who gives donations similar to what you see with public television. Other than Red Hat, Linux is free as an operating system and with many of the programs. There are more software programs available for Linux than for Windows and Apple combined. All is free, and other than for Apple's Page, which isn't even compatible with itself, Linux is compatible with Windows and Apple. There are also program suites available for Linux, just as there are for Windows. In other words, LibreOffice and OpenOffice have the same features, only they work better than Microsoft Word. The only time in the last 15 years I've had to use Windows or an iMac is when I have to fix one that has problems. The last and most important point is that Linux argues less than Windows or Apple. In the IT world, it costs about 1/20th the amount to maintain a Linux system over a Windows or an Apple system. It may be something for you to check out. I would start out with probably Debian or Fedora for your first distribution in Linux. Then once you get comfortable with it, you can go with some of the glitzier ones like maybe Ubuntu or some of the other distributions that are very key specific, such as for musicians or for multimedia. Many companies work on a 2-year life cycle for their products or services. Before you buy, check the coverage time for the full replacement warranty. After that time, your product will be prone to failures. Also, check online to see if there are problems with warranty work. A company may have the best warranty package, but weasels out of honoring a claim whenever possible, which they may call an extended service plan, so that they don't get tangled up with the laws in the many states relating to warranties. This is why I like buying Harbor Freight tools, because it's a simple warranty. If it breaks, bring it back to the store. I've had Harbor Freight tools that have lasted for more than 20 years. Best buy dates encourage throwing away products while still fresh. These days, tin cans have a coating that protects the food. You have years to use the canned product. Dairy is good until your nose says otherwise. The reason why I like sell-by dates, it makes the stores maintain a fresher inventory. Although I haven't been too pleased with the length of freshness of produce from Costco. The produce seems to have a shorter shelf life at home. Often, merchandise is manufactured with upgrades installed, but hidden or not brought out to a switch. It's cheaper for the company to make one model internally and make the differences on the outside of the product. If you're good with electronics, you can often bring out the extra features by doing the upgrades yourself. This is only a suggestion to those who know what they're doing inside a product. If you don't know what you're doing, you can break it or cause injury to yourself. Opaque containers or containers with pumps, or even toner cartridges for printers, are designed to leave as much as 1/3 of the contents unused. Have you noticed that if the contents are hidden, except maybe for a squeeze bottle of mustard, it can look like you're out of something, but if you take the cap off and take a peek inside, you see there's a large amount left that can be used. Take something that uses a pump, such as hand cream. By adding just a few drops of water or olive oil, the lotion will again flow and work with a hand pump. Or take the cap off the hand lotion and replace it with a cap off of an empty mustard squeeze bottle, if it fits, and squeeze the lotion out like you do mustard, if you don't mind the smell of mustard. Never judge a power tool by peak power rating. Use average rating instead. RMS power is the continuous power rating, where peak power is for such things as starting up a motor or a generator. A good rule of thumb, if not given the stats, is that RMS, which means root mean square, is about 70% of peak power, but it's real power. For example, if a battery-operated hand tool operates at the peak power of 20 volts and other tools say 18 volts, they are the same. So let's do the math. 70% of 20 volts is 14 volts. So you see, 70% is just a simple rough estimate, but will get you close enough to know what is really going to happen with the tool or anything else. The actual formula is a bit more complicated. We can also estimate the horsepower when switching from an ICE engine, that's an internal combustion engine, such as in your car, to an electric motor. Electric motors use foot-pounds, not horsepower. But for a good old estimate, if a car uses 100 horsepower with an ICE engine, you can get a similar output with a 77 horsepower electric motor, or it equals out to be about 1/3 less horsepower needed. Most times a mechanical switch will outperform a digital switch or electronic switch. My philosophy is use the best design that suits the situation. For example, if I need a standard light switch, I will go with a mechanical. It will last until the cows come home, whereas the electronic switch will fail after a couple, 3 years. But if I'm going to control the speed of a ceiling fan, I will use an electronic switch over a mechanical switch, which would be a rheostat in this case, and can burn out the motor. Never be afraid to ask for a discount. You may not get it, but sometimes you will. This is important if you're a senior citizen, a veteran, or a first responder. This term, first responder, is wrong. It should be called professional responders. You and I and Uncle Bob are the usual first responders. Quite often we have controlled the situation by the time help arrives. This is not to belittle professional responders. They have a hard and dangerous job to do, but they do it every day. Just look how well the average Uncle Bob will do in an emergency until help arrives. So when you say first responders, you are actually talking about everyday people helping out where they're needed. So go ahead, ask for the first responder discount. Usually it's about 10% for anyone who qualifies. Remember, you won't get it if you don't ask. When cleaning, traditional cleansers such as bleach, ammonia, or vinegar will outperform name brand products. Don't use bleach and ammonia together and make cyanide gas, which is deadly. The commercials have tricked us to think the stink that comes from the name brand chemicals means that it's clean. In reality, all it proves is that you have used something that stinks. You don't really know if it's clean with all the stink in the air. Whereas using the older traditional cleaners without the stink, you can actually tell that something is clean. It's subtle, but it's there. And you will be proud that you really cleaned instead of stinking up the place. There are no real differences between a chemical fertilizer and a natural, except you can easily over-fertilize and kill the microbes and burn the plants. Where it matters with organic is with insecticides and pesticides. Nitrogen and other chemicals are the same, whether it came from a factory or from the hind end of a farm animal or from a compost pile. The advantage to natural fertilizer is the lower amount and the slower release of the nutrients. Also, there are usually trace nutrients in natural fertilizers. So if a plant needs a bit of help, it's okay to give a light dose of chemical fertilizer and then follow up with some natural fertilizer when you're upwind of your garden. Most folks may not realize this practice by businesses. When special ordering a product, such as furniture, the deposit required usually is the cost of the item to the retailer. If you purchase a piece of furniture that costs $1,000, Typically, a 25% deposit is required. This way, if something happens with the deal, the store is completely covered. In other words, furniture in the better stores is marked up by a factor of 4. Let me tell you to put a sock on it. That is, your cell phone. If you wish to have a door closed for privacy, make sure the camera on your cell phone is covered. It can be as simple as putting a sock over the phone or laying anything large enough to cover the camera lens. Why? Because your camera can be turned on without your knowledge or permission. Chances are very small that your phone's camera will be turned on without your knowledge. But let's keep those things that would be embarrassing from the public. This one is a good idea for everyone, just as you may have a second email address for those times that an email address is needed, but you don't want to give out your address. Do the same thing with credit cards. Get a second credit card for doing online ordering or orders over the phone. Keep a lower cap on the card, say $1,000, so that if someone gets a hold of it, there won't be much credit that can be used off the card. Of course, when you spot something untoward on the statement, or if you get any other indication that the card info has been stolen, contact the card company and notify them immediately. In most instances, you may not be held responsible for the fraudulent use. Check the details in your credit card plans for specific details. Having a second credit card keeps your main card protected against being illegally used and all the hassles. And I'm not talking about the 1960 rock band either. Avoid buying fresh meats commercially packaged. MAP, Modified Atmosphere Packaging, is a gas mixture that keeps the appearance of the meats and other products in a better condition for appearances purposes. The mixture is adjusted for the product, including coffee and other commodities. Chicken uses a different mixture than that for red meats. For me, the taste is horrible due to the age of the meat and not from the use of the gas mixture. It keeps the product looking fresher longer. I will allow for the meat department at a particular store to package meats in advance, since they do not have this ability to map the meat. Otherwise, I'll get it out of the bulk meat case. Some of this information can save you some money, or make for a higher score on trivia night at the local beer emporium, if not just plain interesting. And I hope some of this will help you out someday. Thank you for watching, and if you and 10,000 of your closest friends will subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Well, this is the old farmer, Scott Bain. Be well. Be safe.
Don't forget to click like and click subscribe on the Old Farmer YouTube channel, and thanks again for watching. Bye.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.